Am I the asshole for how I reacted after I found out my husband ran a secret background check on me before we got married? We've been married for 3 years, and I only just found out recently that before we got married, my husband ran a background check on me and my family. I found out because we were on vacation with his family, and they were doing things I had no interest in participating in a few times, so I stayed behind. He let me borrow his laptop because I left mine at home. I made a folder with my name, and I was searching for it when I found another folder with my name. The folder was full of reports on me, my family, including extended family, and 2 of my childhood friends. I read as much of the reports as I could before my husband and his family came home for the day. At first, I was just hurt he would do something like this without talking to me first. But as I read more and started finding out things about my family and friends that I never even knew, I started to get angry. It's hard to put it into words, but I felt like I had gone cold all over, but also like it wasn't me reading these things. So when I saw my husband, I exploded on him in front of his family. At first, he tried to say it wasn't a big deal, and his cousin chimed in to say it was normal, and he wasn't the only one who had done it in their family. When he saw I wasn't calming down, he tried to get me to go into our room so we could talk about it privately, but I told him I wasn't going anywhere with him, and I was leaving. My husband told me to stay, and he would sleep somewhere else or he would leave, but we were staying in a house owned by his parents, and it felt weird for me to stay and make him leave, especially since his family was there still too. I ended up staying at a hotel for the night, and we both flew home shortly after that, cutting the vacation short. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for breaking my promise to my husband and letting others meet our newborn son before him? I, female 25, moved away from my town and to my husband's, male 32, hometown after we got married. The main reason is because he suffers from a medical chronic condition and needs to be near his family. I was pregnant with our first baby and was nearing my due date when my husband had to travel out of town for work for 2 weeks. Because of this, he couldn't be with me in the delivery room, which wasn't expected. I wanted to ask my mom to come be with me, but he assured me that his family are there to help and I shouldn't be worried. He then made me promise that I don't let anyone see our son for the first time in person before him, besides his stepmom, who was supposed to be there for me, and I agreed. His stepmom was with me when I went into labor, but she stayed away since she is the type that doesn't get too involved and keeps her distance. She's also the, quote, I don't do diapers type, meaning she doesn't offer help with the baby and I shouldn't be expecting it. She dropped me and my son off at home and asked that I only call if there's an emergency. I felt helpless. I asked my neighbor for a few favors, but needed real help with the baby, so I called my mom. She knew I'd just given birth, and asked if she could come help me, and she drove 4 hours to come stay with me. She helped out tremendously, and I am so grateful for that. My husband stayed away for a few more days, then came home. Once he saw my mom, he got super upset, repeatedly saying I broke the promise that I made him by not letting others meet our son before him, and I explained that I needed help, and he brought up his stepmom, but I replied that she dropped me off and left. That's it. Besides, he and my mom are on good terms. I didn't get why he was mad. She met her grandbaby, which was inevitable. He said it wasn't about mom since it could have been anybody else, but it was about me disrespecting his wishes and breaking the promise I made. He reminded me that he's also the parent and he gets a say too. At this point, I said he was overreacting, but he replied that I forever tainted the memory of his son's birth and broke his trust and proved to him that my word, quote, is worth shit now. Mom tried to give us space, but I said she did nothing wrong. She came to help after his stepmom left, so I can't be blamed for asking for help. He told me to stop giving him excuses and admit I wronged him with what I did, and then started avoiding me and just kept focusing his attention on our son. He keeps acting cold towards me, calling me a selfish promise breaker and expecting me to make it up to him. He wanted an apology, but I haven't given him that yet. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for telling my husband that he deserved to be called an idiot by my sister for talking to her kids at Thanksgiving dinner about their dead father? This was the first Thanksgiving without our beloved brother-in-law. My sister's 35-year-old husband passed away months ago from a serious medical condition. He and my sister and their kids used to come spend Thanksgiving at my parents' house every year. This year, and seeing how sad my sister has been, we weren't sure whether she wanted to join us, but we were surprised when she showed up with her kids while we were about to eat and brought her younger sister-in-law too. We were happy to see them. My sister took off her jacket and sat down at the table, and we started eating and talking about a bunch of stuff when my husband stopped and casually pointed at the empty chair and said, "Damn, that's where Thomas used to sit wearing that same brown trucker jacket and talk about his plans for the future even when sick. I looked at my sister and saw her grudgingly stare at him as he went on to speak to the kids directly, asking if they missed their daddy, and they nodded. Yeah, cause what kids who just lost their dad a month ago don't miss him? He then looked at my sister, then back at the kids and said, "Oh please, don't be so sad, because daddy's just going to sleep just like we all do, except he won't ever wake up." We were all shocked as my niece started crying, and suddenly my sister got up from her chair and started unloading on my husband, calling him an idiot and that he should have kept his mouth shut and not talk to the kids like that. My husband got up from his seat and got into an argument with her, and I got involved trying to calm them down, but my sister told her sister-in-law to get the kids ready to leave and took her stuff. I tried to follow, but she told me to leave her alone. I've done enough already. I went back inside and my husband said he was just trying to comfort the kids and didn't understand why she went off on him like that. I was pretty upset, and later that night my sister called saying her kids are now traumatized and terrified of sleeping, thinking they won't wake up just like their dad after what my husband told them. I said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Then literally got into a big argument with him as he tried to say he's a victim and my sister was overstepping by calling him an idiot and humiliating him in front of the whole family. I said he deserved to be called an idiot and more after the messed up line he told the kids, and let him know he just traumatized his niece and nephew while this whole situation was preventable. He threw up his hands in frustration and took the phone and bag and left the apartment after saying we were all being too much and unfair to him over an innocent attempt to comfort the kids. He thinks I should be with him, not against him.
If my dad's watching this, I'm gonna tell you right now, Dad, save yourself the tears. So almost everything I do to my appearance, I do behind my dad's back. Hair color behind his back. Tattoos behind his back. Sorry, Dad. And piercings behind his back. But I literally almost got kicked out because of this. So earlier this year, around April, I only had my septum pierced. That was the only piercing I had. But my sister had her septum pierced and both of her nostrils pierced. And I was like, that's not fair. That is not giving fairness. So I'm like, yo, Mom, can I get my nose pierced since my sister did? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. Like, that's fair. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I asked my dad, I'm like, yo, Dad, can I get my nose pierced since, once again, my sister has hers pierced? And he's like, no, you can't. How come she can have her nose pierced, but we're literally the same age? So that peed me off a lot. So I told my mom that my dad said yeah. My mom was like, okay, cool, we'll make an appointment. So I was like, okay, bet. So my mom sets up a piercing appointment for April 4th, I think it was. And I literally had gotten my license 3 days before this. I got my license April 1st. So I just told my dad, I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna drive around a little bit. And he didn't think anything of it because I just got my license. Obviously, I'm gonna wanna drive around. So he's like, okay, Kayla, that's fine. So I get in the car and I drive to the piercing place. My mom met me there. And my sister was also there getting another piercing. She was getting like her ear pierced or something. I don't know. Anyways, back when this story took place, my dad had me and my sister's location on Life 360. And I told my sister to pause her location so that he didn't know where she was. She didn't do that. As I'm literally about to sit in the chair to get my nose pierced, my dad calls me. So I look at the piercer and I'm like, I gotta go outside real quick. So I go outside and he's like, where the F are you? And I'm like, I'm at a piercing place. I was honest because I was like, if I lie to him, it's gonna be a whole nother thing. So he's like, you're getting a piercing. I'm like, yes, I am. And then he just went quiet. Like, he didn't say anything. So then I started to get like really scared because when my father doesn't talk, that's a whole new level of angry. So I became a good child and I was like, I won't get my nose pierced if you say no. Can I get my nose pierced? He took a long breath and he goes, I don't care. Woo! You don't care. So I got it done. I got my nose pierced and I came home later that night. He didn't look at me in the face. Didn't talk to me for like 2 days. But now it's all about to happen again, baby. Because you see this right here? This is a fake piercing. I've been wearing this fake piercing for 2 months nonstop. I've worn it so much, my dad doesn't even notice it anymore. And I'm getting my bridge really pierced December 27th. I'm ready to start the new year off with a bang. And that bang is getting my dad angry. I'm sorry, Dad, but like, it makes me happy. And if I'm already gonna glue a fake one on my face, I just well get the real deal. You know what I'm saying? Promise, I'm a good kid. Just, I like to modify my body with piercings. And I don't think that's bad because my grades are straight A's. I don't skip school. I have a job. So like, let me get a piercing! It's a freaking piece of metal. So yeah, boo-hoo, wait. If any of my dad's friends show my dad this video...
Am I the asshole for yelling at my obsessed wife? So my wife is a big nerd, which I normally appreciate. She took today off of work so she could be up at 4 AM to play her online game at launch. I didn't wake up until about an hour ago, and she was still playing. I mentioned that I was hungry, hoping that we could make breakfast together. She instead said, order us something from DoorDash, I'm in the middle of a dungeon and I may be a while. I didn't really want to get takeout because we had already discussed ordering pizza tonight for dinner. That's a lot of takeout food in one day. I calmly explained this, and she got pissed and shrieked at me that she just wanted one weekend to focus on her video game. I said that it was unfair to our family for her to isolate all weekend, and she got even more mad, telling me that I have 2 hands and can feed the goddamn cat. I was in tears at this point, and I did raise my voice and said that I was worried that she's obsessed with this game, Maybe she needs professional help. She threw her car keys at me and said that I need to get out of her face. That she works all the time and doesn't ask for much, and I need to leave for a few hours. Am I the asshole?
Then took apart and made them collide until the right ones fell into line to get something unpredictable.
Hi guys, thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to see more great videos. See you again.